Welcome to CarePod, a safe place to educate, inspire, and renew the caregiver. Listen in with our host, Dr. Kipley Bell, as she interviews different experts along the caregiving journey.
I hate talking budget. Hate making a budget. Hate not having it, right? But we have to face the music. So here I chat with Kelly Redman on all things budgeting, especially when you're in a multi-generational household and how to balance the funds. So listen in, gain some tips and see what she's got.
So today I'm here with Kelly Redman of MGC Budget Coaching. Yes, we need a budget caregiver. So I'm so thankful to have her with me on the CarePod today to discuss really how we need to manage our finances, especially in this climate and especially with the additional layer of managing our families and our caregiver, the needs of our caregivers and aging loved ones. So Kelly specializes specifically with helping families manage their personal finances. So I'm really thankful to have you on with us today, and welcome to the CarePod.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Excited.
So it's so timely that I'm meeting with you today because literally my husband is an accountant. And I really feel like there are there's the savers and the spenders. And some days I'm a saver and I'm all about it. And there's other days where I'm like, I work hard. I want to live, I want to spend this because this will create more time for me, etc. i.e. Instacart. We just had a whole Instacart discussion because I love to food shop, but my time does not lend to that anymore. Then now you add the addition of having your own bag and the multiple products you have to lug to the car, blah, blah. So, and I spoke with another girlfriend who said, but you know what? I save more money because I'm one that goes grocery shopping and then I buy stuff I don't need. So what do you say, like, where is our balance, and where do you begin when you sit with a family to discuss, financial stability and growth?
So generally what I do, because a lot of times the families, they don't even know where their finances are going. Like they know what they bring in, but they don't know what's going out. And so a lot of times they find themselves scraggling for money, not realizing where all the money went. So what I have them do is to do a journal for a month to write down everything that they spend. And then at the end of the month, we get together and we look at, okay, so this is what you're spending on groceries. This is what you're spending on eating out. This is what you're spending on, whatever miscellaneous things that they have. So that way, when they see that, they'll be like, okay, so then they can actually take their actual number of what they're spending based upon what comes in, and they see exactly what they have left. And it also, lets them see where they're overspending. They could be overspending in a lot of areas too. So once we get those numbers, we have a clear idea of what's coming in, we have a clear idea of what's going out, then I have them make the necessary adjustments to see, okay, I need to stop doing this and do this. So
tell me, is there a theme? Is there a theme of, where you have a client and you're just like, their Instacart, for example, is their non-negotiable? Like, is there a theme that you're seeing with families of what the overspend may be or not?
It's eating out. A lot of it is, yeah, they're spending a lot of things on wants versus needs. That's where the adjustment has to come in. And sometimes they have to put away the Netflix for a little while, or put away certain subscriptions that they have in order to get balanced out. And then once they balance, then they can always go back to those things if they choose to. But a lot of it I find is the eating out, the entertainment. Yes.
And post-COVID, are you seeing that because we were all inside for so long, post-COVID, are you seeing this kind of surge in that? Like, I'm going out, I'm or is that not really
Yes and
a thing?
no, because right. Yes and no, because they actually see what they were doing. You know what I mean? So they was like you're stuck in a house, you see what you're doing, you see you weren't able to spend as much as you wanted to. So some of them will say, oh, hey, look, I did have this extra money that if COVID wasn't an issue, then I would have been out spending that anyway. So it's kind of like a win-win per se, even though COVID was what COVID was, but it really helped them to see where they need to adjust or where they can adjust. Because some of my clients, they really didn't see where they had any extra additional income. And with that, being at home, they said, oh, okay, so I wasn't spending so much in this area because I'm home. Now they see where they can initially put that money towards savings, towards an emergency fund, or towards any goals that they had set. So,
So
yeah.
this kind of teaching around the emergency fund and 3 months worth, et cetera, what do you say to someone that may say, listen, I'm barely making ends meet, and okay, I've done my monthly trends, I've trimmed back as much as I can. you know, I guess, there are no quick answers, but, what is, I guess, a sure path or an expedient path to some semblance of an emergency fund?
So what I normally tell them to do is if they even have $5 a pay, put $5 a pay away. Just start somewhere and just keep increasing as you get paid. Or if they have like a side hustle that they can make extra money from. If they like to sew, if they like to make crafts or something that they can sell, they can use that money and put it towards an emergency fund. So I try to get creative where they're not really I don't want anyone feeling bad that they don't have the money that they have. I said, just start if you got $5, put $5 in. Start somewhere. It's better to start somewhere than just to not have it at all. That's when
Absolutely.
people have that's when they whip out the credit cards and start swiping away. And I'm trying not to add to their debt. I'm trying to get them to
To
get
reel it
debt
back.
free.
Right.
Yeah, reel it back. Yes.
So
Yes,
I ask
absolutely.
every CarePod guest their why. So
Mhm.
take us through your journey to, financial wholeness, wealth, discipline, all of that.
Right. So that started years ago when I was single. The church I attend, we had a class called Financial Peace University. That was through Dave Ramsey. He still has that. And I was actually facilitating that class for years, and of course, through facilitating it, I had to take the class first. So I took the class and I started my own financial journey of budgeting my finances while I was single. And just doing that and also being able to help someone just gave me a peace and a joy and just a passion to just want to really help others, get out of debt or set financial goals, whatever it was. I don't know. I just had this passion to really help because also I was raised in a single parent home. It was me and my dad. And, my father didn't have a lot of money. So we didn't do a lot of the things that, I'm doing now with my daughter. So looking back now, I'm like, wow, if we had the money to do Disney every year or this and that, it would have been a whole different situation. But I wasn't raised that way. So my passion just to help others to just achieve what they want to achieve and to know that they can, to know that they don't have to live paycheck to paycheck and they're not always going to have a car payment. Just, to get that mindset, get that stinking thinking out of their minds and,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
put them on a path to financial success. So it's
absolutely.
just came from me doing it myself and where I came from being with, in a single parent home and not having a lot, just wanting to help others not, go through the same thing that I went through.
Absolutely. And I identify with that coming from a single parent household as well. And it leads me to my next question in terms of inheriting the behaviors, the financial behaviors of those that you care for. So I grew up in a
Right.
single parent household where, my mom did a lot of rob Peter to pay Paul or layaway, or, she did what she had to do to sacrifice so that I could be all that I am. But in
Right.
that too was uh modeled behavior that I had to
Right.
then, undo and still have to be mindful of. So, what do you
Right.
say to the family now that say the daughter or the son, the grandchildren are savers. They are properly managing funds, but now they're inheriting a whole other household or a whole other way of being as they take on the additional layers of caregiving. Or those of us that are sandwiched between taking care of our nuclear families and yet, now having to settle the finances of their elders.
So first and foremost, they have to make sure that they have their financial self in order. And then taking on another family member, that can be a whole another issue. So you also have to look at where their family member's financial situation is, and see where you can, well, how you'll be able to help. Because you may not be able to take on all their debt, and you may not be able to, care for certain things. So that's where some family members might have to come in and help wherever they need to. Prayer, of course, if God to lead you to different organizations or foundations that can help. One of the blessings with me is I had to take care of my grandmother from 2014 to 2016. One thing about my grandmother, though, she was a saver. She always saved. She was a charitable giver. She always gave to her church, gave to other, organizations. So when me and my cousin had to take her on, my grandmother's account, we didn't have to take anything from our pockets because she had everything lined up, every single thing.
Amazing.
She didn't want to go into a home. She didn't want to come live with us. She had her own home. She wanted to live there. She wanted to die there. And we tried to, encourage her to go into a home. And she was like, nope, I'm going to live here. And so we had to, finagle our way and find different caregivers to come and help with her. But absolutely nothing came out of our pockets. She had it all.
And that's
I wish
a
I would
gift.
have learned from her. Yes, it is. I wish I would have sat down with her like, Grandma, how did you do that? How did you save? Because I'm telling you, everything was taken care of.
Wow.
So so that was an extreme blessing. So I wasn't on the end of having to use my finances to take care of her. But I can imagine that there are some that do. And like I said, you may have to reach out to family members, check out different organizations, nonprofit organizations, to see where you can get the finances from, to take care of your loved one.
Yeah. And I think it's an early lesson for those of us in the caregiving journey to be like your grandmother for our own children, to make those early decisions now.
Feeling overwhelmed? To-do list growing by the minute? Wish you had a helping hand? Stay tuned. The Care Cab is on its way. An errand service specifically meeting the needs of caregivers, freeing up your time so you have more time to care for those you love.
Now. And so I think where I get caught up is, like I alluded to earlier, this kind of frugal mindset where I absolutely do nothing, or, really kind of striking that balance of, enjoyment and splurging in terms of travel or, some vice, but the majority of the other time, really having saving mechanisms in place.
Yes, definitely. And I wasn't even thinking about taking care of my grandmother when I was younger. I never thought I had to. The thought never came to my mind until, she started falling and there was like nobody else. I was like, wow, I never even thought that I would become a caregiver. Never thought about it. Yeah.
How about it?
Yeah.
So do you, what are your thoughts around, like I've heard different things like split the car payment, pay the car payment or the student loan payment twice, like the one payment, but split it in two per month to avert their interest or the, as much max percentage of your pre-tax money on your 401k. What are these kind of tips that you offer to your clients?
I think that's a great idea. If you can do it bi-weekly, I would definitely do it. If it's in your budget and you're able to handle it without, compromising somewhere else, then definitely. The quicker to pay off your debts, the better. especially with
So
these
a
interest
full
rates. Where
payment
they go,
twice monthly or
oh, no, just paying like, yeah, like one payment, but breaking it up, taking half from one check and half from the other. Yeah, not paying two payments a month.
and what's
Because
the
sometimes
theory
that can
behind
kind
that?
of alleviate. Well, it kind of alleviates, like sometimes what I notice is, people generally get paid twice a month. And a lot of the bills come out of that first check. So they have nothing left to spend until the following check comes up. But if you're splitting that bill in half, paying half of it, out of one check and paying the other half out of the other check, you're alleviating, you're leaving yourself with some money left over so you can buy groceries, so you can do co-payments when you go to the doctors, things like that. So that's the idea behind it. So you're
Nice.
not leaving yourself with nothing and you have to wait, like, how am I going to do this I don't get paid for the next 2 weeks,
Right. And
trying
there's
to
a
get,
surplus.
yes, and there's a surplus in the end. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's
How do
my mind.
you,
That's
what do you recommend to your clients as a reward? So now you have somebody that they've done their monthly budget. They said, you know what, I really can cut out on the takeout and the eating it, the restaurants, whatever. I can trim here or there. And they have shown, what is your litmus test over time for their success? And then, what do you offer it as a reward? Just as people are trying to lose weight, for instance, occasionally you may say, okay, once in a while to have a little something, is a little piece of cake is not going to hurt you.
absolutely. So what I would say is plan a weekend getaway or go to the spa, something like that. Something where they're
Nice.
just taking care of themselves and just relaxing. But I'm down for the weekend. I think the weekend would be nice. Nice weekend away. Doesn't have to be far. You don't have to get on a flight. You know what I mean? Just go somewhere and relax and just enjoy yourself.
That's a good,
It's
that's a
no
good idea.
self-care. Yeah. Nice.
Absolutely. That's a great idea. Because I was thinking more like, oh, do you say, well, now you can go buy that bag you've been eyeing or whatever. But,
That too.
kind of
Yeah.
sewing that back to yourself too, and
Right.
your wellness
Absolutely.
is a better, I
Right.
think, better path.
Absolutely. Taking care of yourself and just sit back and relax. Read a book, something that you generally enjoy doing, but haven't had the chance to do. Do that, even if it's once a
Absolutely.
quarter.
So do you
I
have a
think
set period of weeks or, tell us when someone enrolls in your program, what's your average client time or how do you follow
so.
people over time, et cetera?
Sure, it's a 3-month program, and I meet with you virtually through Zoom every other week for 3 months, and then after the 3-month period, we're going to meet 6 months later, 9 months later, and then a year later. So
Nice.
you got me for, yeah, I'm strict on you for 3 months, and then I give you a break for a few months, and I reconvene with you later to see, how you're doing, if we need to adjust anywhere. So it's a year, but weekly it's just for 3 months.
Okay.
Then I follow up with you. So
Okay. And tell us
yeah.
how a client can reach you, because we're international here at the Care Pod. So your virtual offerings, I always like to have guests, promote their virtual offerings to clients because it's something that people can manage, can take advantage of.
So my website is www.mgcbudgetcoachingllc.com. So you can always reach me there. My Instagram is the @ MGC Budget Coaching LLC, I believe. And yeah, and you can fill out my contact form on my website. You can send me a message, and then we'll sit down and I'll do a free financial assessment with you, ask you some questions, and see if we'd be fit for a coaching session with me. So
Nice. Can you describe your greatest success story with a client?
My greatest success story is with a married couple, actually, who, because with married couples, we I'm married, so we tend to don't like to have those budgeting conversations. So the fact that they were able to now communicate better without having arguments, and they were sitting down and having budget meetings and just they just felt like their marriage was better and their marriage was more, they were able to communicate better. So that for me was like a blessing. It wasn't even about
Yes.
the financial part. It was about the part that they were able to communicate better and be able to sit down and without arguing and fighting and just be able to have a peaceful conversation about money is great to me.
It's
That was
huge.
my
It's
biggest,
huge.
yeah, yes.
Yes.
So that,
Yes. And
yeah.
so tell me too, do you do anything around the kids, like in terms of clients with their grands or those of us with little ones, in terms of um, financial management, investing, what are your tips that way?
Right. Actually, no, I haven't had any clients. Well, I have clients with kids, but no, I haven't added on a financial portion for kids yet, but that could be coming in the future, Kiply.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's so funny.
Yep.
I find that a lot of these programs, not even just specific to finances, but across age, their benchmark is like 10, where they're losing this kind of pocket of little ones that are sponges and
Right. True.
can also kind of a little child shall lead can help direct the trajectory of their own families by saying, no, I'm going to save this, or I think we should
Right.
do this for a family trip. And so if we save this way or what have you.
Right.
So,
Right.
yes.
Even if it's like having them have little envelopes, like a spending envelope, a giving envelope, and just teaching them how to give and how to save. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think
Oh.
when we speak about our grands and, lessons that we learn from our elders, kind of these multi-generational programs around finances, I think are needed as well.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. I agree.
So is there anything else you'd like to share with our CarePod audience?
Just making sure that you're budgeting and that you're sticking to your financial goals. But the most important thing is that emergency fund, because emergencies happen, unfortunately. And
Yes.
just knowing that you have that extra money set aside where you don't have to worry about whipping out the credit card, putting yourself in more debt. So just making sure that you're financially secure, especially with the emergency fund.
Yes, well, that's a great, emergencies do happen. You're absolutely right. Well, I'm so thankful. I look forward to more conversation and, more ways to kind of get this message out to those of us, because, money is how we move in this marketplace. So we need to learn how to manage it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Well,
thanks so much for joining us, and I look forward to chat with you soon.
Okay, take care.
Thank you.
Great information right from the source. For more information on how to caregive like a boss, check out impactfulcaregiving.com. Want to be a guest on the show? Contact us at CarePod at impactfulcaregiving.com.